This time we are going to make a little heart. It's kind of a woven heart out of fabric, and it opens up so you could put stuff in there, and if you wanted you could put a ribbon across the top, maybe just glue it or make a little cut in the heart, top of the heart, so that you could thread it through, whatever you want to do. If you can see, I've got some that I put ribbon on and hung up back here behind me. A couple of different ones. Anyway, so this is what I'm going to show you how to do. The first thing that you'll need is a paper template so that you know your shape. You've got your shape, and you can make these yourself. This one I used graph paper to make it a little easier on myself, and I decided that I wanted my hearts, so these are two separate pieces that I put together. This is what one of them looks like, and I decided I wanted it to be 3 inches wide, and then I could cut 4 equal strips across it. So what I did is I drew out a square 3 inches by 3 inches, and then I just put a little bit of an arc on it, so pretty easy, and then I cut it out. So this is what we'll end up cutting the fabric out of. So now I'm got what's left over of a fat quarter that I'm going to use, and I am going to cut 3 1/4 inches off of here, and it ends up being a pretty perfect length. But I've got the 3 1/4 so that I've got a little bit of room to trim it up when I get done and keep it all even on the edges and make it look nice and sharp. I do highly recommend using some best press or spray starch on your fabric and ironing it first. The ends tend to get a little frayed if you don't. So that was kind of the key for me, helped me out a little bit in getting a better result. So I'm going to get this whole thing sprayed and ironed. And then what I'm going to need is a fusible web, whatever you prefer. I happen to have some apple stick, which is kind of handy. It is just a regular fusible on one side, and once I peel the paper off, it's adhesive end. So I'll show you how this works. Get the first side fused on. We'll see if I can get this to work. Sometimes it works better than others on the first try. And about the time I think I've got it figured out, it won't work for me, but get that pressed on, and you want to wait just a little bit for it to cool off so you don't burn your fingers. And then if I can get the paper peeled off, there we go. Then I can fold this over on itself. And the apple stick works in a way that if I needed to reposition it, I can just pull it up and reposition. So pretty handy there. So now I'm going to finish the fusing. I guess I should probably use that side. And get it stuck together really good. And then next I'm going to trim it up to my 3 inches so that I have a nice edge on there. Get rid of that. And there we go. Then I'm going to go ahead and press so that I've got a fold, because this template I want to put on the fold. Make sure it'll fit. And then press the bottom again. And I'm going to trace, and really, because it's 3 inches wide, it fits just right, and all I have to do is just trace this top and cut it out. And then you'll have to keep in mind that you're going to cut the tabs, and there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I didn't cut my template, so I'm just going to kind of draw a line on here so that I know where I need to cut up to. And I can draw it across the whole top. The other thing that I can do is, since I know that this is 3 inches square, I can just use this to measure my length, because I want to make sure and cut it all the way to the 3 inches so that when I weave the hearts in together, there's enough room. Okay, that should be good enough. So now I'm going to trim the top off with some nice heavy-duty scissors. Get that nice arc there. And I got a little bit fraying off already. And then I'm just going to use this to start cutting the strips on the fold again. And then once I get these started and spaced out how I want them, then I can set my template aside, and then I'll just cut up to the line. And if you wanted to, you could, draw the whole line out and get it all perfect and make sure they're straight lines, but this works just as well. I'm not going to be off by that much. I just want to make sure I get all the way through. And then I used my friction pen, so if I've got a little line left, I can just iron that right off and it disappears. Then what I want to do after that is, I've got 2 of these, and they can be the same color, different colors, or however much contrast you want. And that's when you start weaving them together. So let's see if I can get this so that you can see it very well. I'm going to take the 2 that are at the top and start weaving, and I go through the fold, and then I'll take this one through like that, and then it has to go through the middle of this one, and then the end one is going to go through that tab, however it works for you. And you can usually get a couple of them woven back and forth before you have to really start sliding stuff around and making room, because I'll have to keep moving these up in order to make room for the last one. So you just kind of do this however it works for you. And you want to be a little bit gentle with them, because they will fray a little bit, even with the starch or the best press or whatever, but it does make it a little bit better. And the ends aren't necessarily going to stay perfect, but when we get to the end, we'll open it up and push everything back out, so it'll be okay. I'm going to try and squeeze these up towards the top, make room for the last couple. And then this one needs to go in and out, through this one, maybe. You can see I'm having a little bit of trouble getting that one to stay. Once I get this through the bottom, that will help. And it's a little bit awkward too, because I'm trying to make it easier to see for you guys. which makes it a little bit more challenging for me. And then we've got the last one. That one goes on the outside, and then I need to weave this one through. And there's just enough room to get it to fit. Like that. And you might be able to see that it's fraying just a little bit, and I can trim that up. Just trim a couple of little loose threads up when I get done here. Having to squish it a little bit. And tuck that last little corner in. This one didn't want to stay, but when I open like that, I can kind of press everything, push all the corners out, and get that shape a little bit better. And then you just kind of work it around until it's all flat. And if you want to press it again, you can sure do that. And then there you have it. And I can, like I said, I could put a piece of ribbon through. I could hot glue the ribbon in the middle if I didn't need it open, and just make it flat too. You can also hang it up on your Christmas tree if you wanted to have hearts on your tree out of whatever color you want. So got a couple of loose threads I'm just going to trim up here real quick, and then I'm going to call it good. So that is how you make the woven heart. Whoops. Thanks for watching.